Good evening, everyone. I'm Shweta Chaudhary, and today I'm presenting on behalf of the Caffeine crew. Our team includes Tegan, Fatima, and Ines. We're going to share insights from our analysis of New York City coffee shop data. Today, I'll walk you through our problem statement, our data set and methodology, key results, insights we developed, and finally, actionable recommendations for coffee shop management. So, let's start with the big picture. Our central question is, how can a coffee shop optimize the timing and type of promotion to increase customer engagement and sales? This addresses a critical challenge in the coffee industry. Understanding when customers are most likely to buy, what they prefer, and how to design targeted promotions that actually drive revenue. This falls squarely within the promotion and customer engagement phases of the marketing process framework. Now, let me tell you about our data. We worked with comprehensive transaction data from Kaggle covering three coffee shop locations in New York City. The dataset includes over 149,000 transactions exclusively from 2023, which gives us rich insights into customer purchasing behavior. So, our key variables include transaction timing, hour of day and day of week, product category, sale value, sale volume, and location specific patterns. Our project objective is very clear, which is identifying optimal promotional timing and designing targeted offers aligned with customer preferences during peak sale periods.
So on this slide, we will look at the revenue over time for the year 2023. We see a clear upward pattern throughout the year. Early in 2023, daily revenue was around 2,000 to 3,000, and by the end of the year, it rose to about 5,000 to $6,000 per day. The line graph shows both peaks and dips, which is helpful as it helps us identify strong performance periods. Overall, this trend suggests a growing customer demand and it gives us guidance on when to plan promotions and inventory. Here we are looking at revenue by store location. Across three network locations, revenue is across three New York locations, revenue is actually quite balanced. Hell's Kitchen leads with about $236K, but Astoria and Lower Manhattan are very close to each other. This shows that demand is citywide and not dependent on one neighborhood. This consistency also suggests that the business model is scalable and location like Hell's Kitchen or Lower Manhattan could benefit from extra resources or targeted promotions. For our peak hour analysis, when we break revenue down by the time of the day, the strongest period is 8 a.m. to 10 a.m., generating $927 on average. Afternoon performance remains stable, but evening drops sharply, especially 6 to 8 p.m. is the lowest revenue window. So this tells us that the business should prioritize staffing and inventory for the morning peak and try promotions or incentives during the slower evening hours. The heat map shows that almost every product category, especially coffee, tea, and bakery, peaks in the morning. Sales decline through the afternoon and are lowest in the evening. This reinforces the morning demand drives most of the revenue, and these insights, they help us guide menu expansion, marketing, timing, and staff decisions. This covers the key revenue trends and demand patterns. And now I'd like to hand it over to Tegan, who will walk us through the layered histograms and regression analysis.
Thank you for that. Like she said, we had one more visualization, which was our revenue layered histograms. We did a layered histogram showing morning in blue, afternoon in orange, and evening in green. We did one for each store. The x-axis shows daily revenue organized into $50 bins, and the y-axis shows the frequency of how often that popped up in the daily revenue numbers for 182 total days in the data set. We first noticed that obviously morning was the best performing in all three stores. Then if you look closer, we see that actually Hell's Kitchen had a very underperforming afternoon as compared to Astoria and Lower Manhattan. We also saw that Lower Manhattan had a very poor performing evening with its numbers much below Astoria and Hell's Kitchen. Astoria performed well in the afternoon and in the evening, and a strategic insight we could take from this is we could see what Astoria is doing differently in the afternoons and evenings as to compared to the other stores and try to reconcile. These graphs could also help managers staff at the three stores according to individual store demand and revenue. Um, Lower Manhattan could promote their evening sales by doing something like a social coffee event at night. First, we did a time series regression, which we looked at each day of the week with Sunday omitted and each month with month one, which was January, omitted. We found that revenue shows statistically significant growth through our t value, which increases by 1 every day, and had a value of 9 with a p-value of much less than 0.1. We saw that Tuesday was the worst performing day of the week at -6, and that February was the worst performing month at -181. These weekly patterns enabled targeted promotions on slower days like Tuesday and optimized staffing for high volume days like Monday. To conclude this regression, basically revenue is rising throughout the year. Weekly sales patterns are strong and consistent, showing highest days on Monday and worst day on Tuesday. And seasonal peaks exist, with the summer months performing a lot better than January and February and the winter months. These identified trends can guide our promotion timing, staffing adjustments, inventory levels, and store level targeting to increase overall revenue. Our next regression we did was product category regression, where we looked at all the product categories, which were organized in dummy variables. And we looked at the 3 times of the day, which was organized as morning, evening, and afternoon. We found that evening had the biggest effect on daily revenue, with each additional evening sale attributed to 2.59 increase in revenue. We also found that the branded product category and that the coffee beans product category had the largest coefficients at 18.1 and 16.8, which signifies that they had the largest positive effect on daily revenue. Each additional quantity sold of coffee beans is attributed to $18 more of daily revenue. What was ironic was that we found that packaged coffee had a negative coefficient of 30.6, which actually meant that every additional quantity sold of packaged chocolate is attributed to 31 less in daily revenue. This could either be due to the cannibalization effect or to packaged chocolate already being sold in the winter seasons, signifying lower revenue. We found that they all had a statistically significant p-value, except for flavors and loose tea and the constant. This means that each category has a large impact on daily revenue, and the evening and morning also do. The results to summarize was coffee products were the strongest revenue, and specific coffee beans showing the highest positive impact. Then we found that packaged chocolate actually reduces revenue, and that evening hours generated the most revenue, and mornings were the second most, and afternoons generated the least. These insights can support prioritizing higher impact categories like coffee beans, adjusting the merchandising, choosing different promotionals, and designing time-specific promotions. Next, I'll pass it to Inez.
Okay, let's bring together our key insights from this analysis. And first, we observe impressive revenue growth throughout 2023. Daily revenue doubled from $2,500 to $5,000. This demonstrates strong, sustained business growth. And second, all three New York locations performed similarly, with Hell's Kitchen leading at 2,000 and 36,000. This balanced performance validates our business model for scalability. Third, morning hours dominate sales with over $600 daily revenue, while evenings drop to just $236. This peak pattern guides our staffing and promotional strategies. Finally, Monday is our strongest day, while Tuesday underperforms. This presents a clear opportunity for target Tuesday promotions. These insights provide a data-driven roadmap for optimizing resources and maximizing the revenue. And now let's discuss our key recommendations based on the data.
First, optimize morning operations. Prioritize staffing and inventory during peak hours to maximize efficiency and customer satisfaction. Second, target Tuesday promotions. Launch special offers to boost the slowest day and balance weekly revenue. Third, introduce a loyalty program targeting morning customers, our core demographic to increase repeat business. The fourth, extend breakfast items to afternoon hours. This capture additional revenue from customers who miss the morning window. Finally, implement dynamic pricing. During off-peak hours, afternoon and evening discounts to drive traffic during slower periods. These five recommendations provide a clear action to plan to optimize revenue and improve operational efficiency. And now we're going to talk about the manager implication. These insights translate into five key we're going to say. The first one is going to be resource allocation. Shift staff and supplies to morning shifts can, when customers demand peaks, improving service efficiency. And then marketing strategy. Design day-specific promotions, especially for underperforming days, for example, like Tuesday, to balance revenue and improve cash flow predictability. The third one, menu optimization. Focus on quick service breakfast items during peak hours to reduce wait times, maximize the throughput, and enhance the customer satisfaction. The next one is going to be cost management. Minimize the staffing during low traffic afternoon and evening hours while maintaining quality service standards to protect brand reputation. And the next one is going to be expansion planning. Consistent performance across 3 locations validates our replicable business model, enabling confident expansion into new neighborhoods. These 5 implications provide a data-driven framework for operations, revenue optimization, and also sustainable growth. The next one we're going to talk about is problems and limitation. Before concluding, let's acknowledge our analyst limitations. The first one is going to be statistical issue. Our model shows strong predictive power, but there's overfitting risk on future data. Additionally, like day of week coefficients and statistically insignificant. And the second one is data constraints. We only have 2023 data, missing long-term trends and seasonal patterns. We also lack customers' demographic, limiting targeted marketing capabilities. And the third one is going to be external factors. Our analysis doesn't account for weather, holidays, events, or competitor activities. These factors that would be significant influence sales patterns. And the next one is going to be geography scope. Finding are limited to 3 New York locations and may not apply to other markets with different demographic or competition. However, this limitation don't invalidate our findings. We recommend collecting like multi-years data and customer demographic to refine and validate these patterns for future decision making. And thank you for listening to our presentation and wish you all have a good one.